Let's get into this bullshit. So, hello. Today I'm going to be telling you guys the story about why I didn't get an apartment. And I'm just gonna jump right on into it. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of background and a little bit of context about what happened. So basically, I found these apartments. They are not too far from where I live now. I'm not gonna say the name of them, I guess, just because they're, like I said, they're really close to where I live, so I don't want anyone to know the general vicinity of where I live, but yeah. So I found these apartments. They are low-income apartments, so that means that they are, I believe, run by the government, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, they're low-income apartments, so the way that they, I'm sorry, my ring light looks weird. The way that they determine, hang on. There we go. So the way that they determine the amount of rent that you would be paying is based upon your income. So your rent would be 30% of your income, which is really great for me because I'm young. I don't make that much money, you know what I mean? I do have a full-time job, but I make just over minimum wage, so I'm not like balling outrageous, you know what I mean? And California, where I live, Southern California, is very, very expensive. So that was perfect. I felt like it was just like all so perfect. It was meant to be because I found like the day that I decided to go out looking for apartments was actually the day that they were like leasing, and it's really hard to find them on a day that they're leasing because, like I said, they are low income, so it's like in really high demand. But the day that I went over, I just happened to go over there, was the day that they happened to be doing all their leasing. So people were putting in applications and they were accepting applications, so that means that they had apartments available. Like I said, at the time I felt like, oh my goodness, this is meant to be, it's affordable, they're leasing. Like, little did I know, bitch, no. But anyways, so I go in there and I fill out an application, and the application was thick. Like it was a thick application. So I brought it home, filled it out. They requested my social security card, my birth certificate, my ID, like all kinds. So cool, whatever. I come back home. Mind you, I had to search. Like, I freaking tore the back room of our house apart looking for my damn birth certificate because my dad put it in a box. That's another story. So I come home, searching for my birth certificate, finally find that. I take my birth certificate, I fill out that long ass application, and I get my social security card, my ID, and I go back over there. I give them all this stuff, they make copies, they say that they will be in touch with me, whatever, cool. So a little bit of time goes by. I don't exactly remember how much time it was because this was a little while ago. Actually, this was only like a month ago, but I don't really remember. Actually, when this happened, it was probably like about 2.5 months ago. So I don't remember exactly how much time went by, but they ended up contacting me, and they wanted to speak to the landlord where I live now. Well, not obviously. I live with my mom right now. I live with my mother. So I don't, like, I was like, okay, what if I can't get in contact with my landlord? Like, what if, you know what I mean? So they're like, oh, we have to talk to the landlord, this, that. So they had to talk to the landlord, so I had to push the landlord to go ahead and fill out their survey or their questionnaire, whatever they sent him. And then they also had to do an employment verification, so they had to fax something to my job. HR had to fill it out and fax it back. That really wasn't a problem. We do a lot of those because of people, you know, filter in and out of my job a lot, so she's used to that. And so that wasn't really a problem. Really, it was just I had to wait on my landlord to fill out this questionnaire, which is inconvenient to me. Like, if one of my tenants is like, oh, can you fill it, like, can you go away? But whatever, I had to wait on my landlord to do that. So he finally did that. He sent it in. Cool. So they, as all of this is going on, this is one of the 3 letters that I have received from them. And this is dated March 26th. And it's just basically saying that they periodically like to check on their applicants and see if they're still interested, because at this point I believe we were waiting for my landlord to fill out that questionnaire. So they sent out a letter stating, like, asking if I was still interested. But mind you, at this point I had already scheduled my home visit, which I'll get into in a second. So I was so confused on why I was receiving this, so I called them. And just a side note, they never ever answer the phone, and their voicemail is always full, so you just have to keep calling and calling and calling and calling and hope someone decides that they want to do their job that day. So I end up calling them about this letter, and I'm like, why did you guys send me this? You know, I thought I had a home visit scheduled. They're like, oh, well, that was sent before we updated our computer. Whatever. So I was like, okay. So they're like, just disregard that. It's whatever. Cool. So after my landlord sends in this questionnaire and my employment verification is fine and they check my background and all that type of stuff, now they want to do a home visit. And I know you're sitting there thinking, bitch, what do you mean a home visit? Because that's exactly what the fuck I thought when they said home visit. But a home visit, basically two random ass people from their office come to your house, take pictures of the outside of your house. Mind you, I had to take an entire day off work for this bullshit because they want you to be available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They don't tell you when they're coming. They just say between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Bitch, I have a full-time job. Are you serious right now? Like, I cannot. I was so irritated that I had to take a full day off work for this. Like, just tell me when you're gonna be there so I can be there. And like, you're making me miss money for what? I'm getting so angry. So basically the home visit rolls around. Like I said, two random ass people from their office come to your house, take pictures of the outside of the house, take pictures of the inside, the living room, the bathroom, where you sleep, and where you keep your clothing, and the kitchen. So they come in the house, they're walking around, they're taking pictures. Mind you, none of this was told to me before they came. They didn't say that they were going to walk around and take pictures and then send them to the corporate office, which is what they did with them. I thought it was just going to be like a walkthrough, you know what I mean? Like they just walk through, make sure, you know, your house isn't thrashed. But this home visit, okay, whatever, I'm getting ahead of myself. So they come to my house, they're walking around, they're taking pictures, they're asking all kinds of questions, and I just think that this is so ridiculous and so, like, I get it, but isn't that what insurance is for? And isn't that what a deposit is for? To make sure that if I do mess up your apartment, it's covered. Like, this is just, I just feel like the home visit is just unnecessary. So they come in, they take pictures, all that. Mind you, the day before, or like the day before that, we had the landlord here come in to do an inspection, just because it had been, we've lived here for a long time and they've never done an inspection. So they wanted to do one. So they came in, did an inspection. But that being said, just prior to that, our landlord was here, so our house was spotless. On a day-to-day basis, our house is never just like disgusting and trashed, you know what I mean? Like, just looking around right now, like, it's fine, you know what I mean? So our house was spotless that day because, like I said, our landlord had just been there for an inspection. So I was not expecting any of the things that happened after that to happen. So they come in, take pictures, blah, 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 and they hear the dogs barking. I had the dogs in one of the rooms. They weren't just out, you know what I mean? So they weren't like barking at them, like they weren't close to them. But they were like, oh, we're not pet friendly. I was like, I'm not pet friendly, bitch. What are you talking about? Like, what's wrong with you? But she's like, we're not pet friendly. And I was like, I'm not pet friendly. I don't even like dogs. Those aren't my dogs. So what are you really saying to me? Like, whatever. So they leave, and they tell me that they will either call me to tell me that I got the apartment, or they will send me a letter saying that I did not get the apartment. So I'm waiting, and I get a letter in the mail. And I'm at work when I get the letter, and obviously my dad calls me and tells me that I got the letter. And then he's like, I was like, you can open it, but just don't tell me what it says until I get home. And then, of course, he tells me at work that I did not get the apartment. So oh my I'm so frustrated because I hate getting bad news when I'm at work, because I hate being in a bad mood when I'm at work, obviously, you know what I mean? I don't work in customer service. I'm not a customer service representative, but I do have to answer phones sometimes if like things get crazy, and I don't want to be in a bad mood at work, you know what I mean? No one wants to be in a bad mood at work, you know? I don't want to lose my job over this, you know? So that was frustrating, but I'm gonna go ahead and read you guys the reason that I didn't get the apartment. So they have all of these different reasons listed, and it says, "Dear Ashley Parks, we would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your interest in our community. However, we regret to inform you that your application has been denied for the reason marked below." So that's all the reasons that they have that you could maybe not get this apartment, which is freaking ridiculous. Like, but the one that they marked is failure of home visit / inspection. So that's the reason that they're stating I did not get this apartment, because of the home visit. They're stating that I failed a home visit, which, how the fuck do you fail a home visit? What? Like, what? So within this letter somewhere, it states that you can write an appeal and give it to them, and then they will have a meeting to discuss your appeal. So that's what I did. I received this letter. This letter is marked April 3rd of this year. So that's when they sent me this. So I decided to send in an appeal because I was like, maybe, you know, like they're just making me jump through extra hoops, which, as if a home visit and freaking having my landlord fill out a questionnaire and doing an employment verification aren't enough hoops. Like, I feel like that's plenty, and that's way more than any other apartment that I've ever applied to has ever made me do, or anyone that I even know. Like, I've never, every time someone, like, I was talking to someone, they're like, I've never heard of that. I'm like, thank you, I've never heard of that either. That's ridiculous. But whatever. I really wanted to get my own apartment, and I still do, you know what I mean? That dream has not just ceased. I still want to really get my own apartment, and I really wanted that apartment because, like I said, it was income based. So 30% of my income, as opposed to most of the studios that I see are $900 and up. So, and most of them are about $1,000. The $900 ones are in the hood. So I was like, I really need this to be it. If I can, you know what I mean? If I really want to move out, if I really want to make this happen, this would be the place to do it. So I decided to write an appeal, and I said, to whom it may concern. Yeah, formal AF. To whom it may concern, I am contacting you in regards to the decision made to deny my rental application due to failure of the home visit. However, when your employees visited my current home, it was neat, clean, and had little to no damage. Please keep in mind, my family has lived in this house for many years now, many of which I was a child, having no control or say over what went on in the home, which is true. This being said, I would like to appeal this decision, as I am confident in my ability to keep your property not only clean but damage free. And I took that in there, and it's stamped April 8th. It's stamped received April 8th. They made a copy of it, and they kept a copy, and they gave me my copy back. So first of all, I just want to say a home visit is very stupid. It's a very dumb way to decide whether or not that person is going to keep your home clean, just because, especially in my situation where I don't have a bedroom where I live, and even if I did, the reason that, well, it's dumb, because when you live with other people, you have no control over what they do or how they keep things. Like I said, this is not my house. This is my mom's house. So 9 things out of the 10 in here, I have no control over where they go, what they are, what, you know what I mean, how things are kept. I just don't have control over that. It's not my house. That's why I'm trying to leave. So deciding whether or not I get an apartment based on a house that 4 adults live in that would not be coming with me over there is the dumbest thing in the world to me. So I'm gonna get into this appeal. So that was April 8th that I gave that to them, and I received a letter marked April 17th of this year. It says, "Thank you for applying. We have been trying to reach you to review your appeal. Please respond within 14 days of this letter. If we do not hear from you, the denial of your application still stands. Thank you for applying." So I had, they did call me, and I didn't get the voicemail until the day I got this letter because my voicemail was not working, and then I realized it wasn't working after I got this letter. But they did try and call me once. I never got a missed call, but mind you, I had been trying to call them for days, and no one was answering the phone. So finally, after I got this letter, I tried calling them, and mind you, I had to call them at least 6 times before I got someone. And they were like, "Oh yeah, so we want to schedule a phone call," which I thought it was going to be like a face-to-face meeting, but it was a phone call. And they're like, "We want to schedule a phone call to discuss your appeal." So cool. They scheduled it. They said that they were going to call me between, I want to say like 2 and 4 or 2 and 3 on like a Thursday or something like that, which I did have work, but I was just like to my boss, like, "Can I just step out? I don't think it's gonna take that long." They're like, "Sure, whatever, that's cool." So I'm at work, I get the call, I rush outside, and initially it was the lady from the office that I've met before. I'm pretty sure she was one of the ladies that did the home visit that initially answered the phone, and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna patch you through to someone in our corporate office." Cool. So I'm on the phone with this guy, and he's just like, "Oh, well, basically state your case." I was like, "State your case," I guess. I don't know. So I'm just telling him, like, this is not my house. There's nothing I can do about how everyone else keeps it. It's just going to be me in that apartment. You know what I mean? I don't have furniture. I don't have a lot of things. So anything, like any damage that you saw was actually not us. When they renovated the house that we live in now, it was not properly done. So there are some things that you can see. I was like, so that's not on us. We didn't cause any of the damage that's in this house. There's really no damage in this house, and there's nothing wrong with it. So I don't know why you guys denied my application. He's like, "Well, I'm just looking at the pictures right now," because the pictures that they sent them to the corporate office, like I said. So he's like, "Oh, well, I'm looking at the pictures now, and just in the kitchen alone, there's pots and pans on the counter, and there's, you know, clutter on top of the refrigerator, and if we were to come into your apartment for an inspection, that would be a violation." Yeah, you heard me right. Bitch, when I tell you, I was so freaking angry. Like, what? There are pots and pans on the counter? Are you serious? There might have been 1 or 2 pots and pans on the counter drying in the drying rack, but why does that matter? And yes, there is clutter on top of the refrigerator. Like I said, there are 4 grown-ass adults living here. There are cereal boxes up there. That's what a refrigerator's for. Like, there's oatmeal up there. It's a fucking refrigerator. Like, you guys are on meth. I swear, you guys are. Because that's the only reason that, like, this would make sense. That makes absolutely no sense. Like, I'm sorry we don't live in one of those model homes where there's like nothing out on the countertops, but like, this is real life. Like, what? Look at this place, and like, you can just see, use your common sense. There's not that much storage space here. So what the fuck are we supposed to do? Not eat? Like that? Oh, I'm getting so worked up, so angry. Let me try and calm down really quick. But yes, so I was like, that's not anything that I can control. There are 4 people living in this house. Of course there's going to be food in the kitchen. Like, what do you mean? I was like, this is my, like, I was, what? Like, I have no control. He's like, "I understand that, and I feel for your situation, but these are the rules, and this is how we keep it fair for everyone." Fuck you, fuck your rules, fuck being fair, fuck all that, okay, sir, because that makes no sense. Like, okay, he literally said to me out of his mouth, I did not get this apartment because there were too many cereal boxes on our refrigerator. Where does that make sense? Please, how does that make sense? That makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. And he's like, I'm not trying to be harsh, but these are just the rules. I was like, there's really nothing I can do. You're telling me I didn't get this apartment because there's too much stuff on the refrigerator. He's like, well, yeah, basically. Fuck you, sir. And if you ever see this video, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Fuck you. I'm sorry, but this is bullshit. Like, I was so mad. I called my mom. I was like bawling, crying. Mind you, I'm at work. So yeah, I call my mom. I'm like hysterically crying. I'm at work. I'm not inside. I'm like outside. And I'm like off the call with him because the call was getting nowhere. It was obvious they were not going to give me that apartment no matter what I said. So got off the call with him, and I'm on the phone with my mom, and I'm explaining to her what he just said, and she's basically saying the same thing that I was. She's like, that makes no sense. Like, what do they, like, are they serious? What do they expect? Like, what do you guys expect to see when you come in for these home visits? Like, you expect to see a perfectly clean house with nothing on the counters? Because no one lives like that. Absolutely no one lives like that, I promise you. So yeah, I'm explaining to her basically what they were explaining to me, and then I call my dad and I'm explaining to him, and I'm just so frustrated. Like, I wanted to leave early that day, but I didn't, and I was just so angry because I seriously didn't get an apartment because there was too much stuff on my refrigerator. Are you serious? Like, are you serious right now? Are you kidding me? So yeah, I was just, I was so angry, and I'm still so angry. Like, I'm so bitter. I honestly am. I just want to put the name out there just to be like, but like, what would that really do? You know what I mean? But I'm so mad still because that's just the dumbest thing that I've ever heard of. So he's like, oh, we'll be sending you a letter to basically review what we talked about. I'm just like, what the fuck do I need a letter for? What do I need a letter for? I already know I didn't get the apartment. What are you wasting paper for? But the last letter that they sent me, this one is dated April 26th. It says, this letter follows our telephonic meeting of this week regarding the appeal of the rejection of your application for residency. After considering the information you presented, it appears that the original decision to deny your application was consistent with the tenant selection plan previously adopted by them, and therefore the denial of your application stands. We wish you the best in your search for a new apartment home. Once again, I say, fuck you guys. That was dumb. It was a waste of my time. So basically, I inconvenienced my landlord, made my job fill out something, and took a whole day off work for absolutely no reason, because they ended up telling me I didn't get it because there were too many cereal boxes on my refrigerator. Yeah. And I just want to say, this home visit thing, like I said, does not make sense, because when you are living with someone else, you have no control over how they keep their refrigerator. You have no control over where they put their pots and pans. So if I had known that they were going to be that anal, obviously I would have cleared everything off of the counters and off of the refrigerator, but I didn't think that it would be an issue to have dishes in the dish rack or cereal boxes on the refrigerator. Like, who would think that? Like, who would think that anyone would have a problem with that? That's insane. So obviously I didn't, but it is what it is. Can't go back in time, fix it. So yeah. And I also want to say that I just feel like this is a part of the problem in this country. They make it so difficult just to live, just to find a safe place that's affordable to live. Like I was saying, they just make it so hard to find affordable housing, like safe, affordable housing. And I just think that it's so pathetic and disgusting and ridiculous that it's so hard for someone to just find somewhere that's affordable, that they can actually afford to live and be safe. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it should be this hard. I think that that's a lot of the reason why homelessness is such a problem and why people just go fucking crazy. Like, I feel like stuff like this will make you go crazy. Like, they just make it so hard for just normal people to live, you know what I mean? I feel like as a young adult working a full-time job, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to support myself independently, but that's the state I live in, that's the world we live in, and it is frustrating, but it is what it is. And I'm getting emotional because, not just because I didn't get the apartment, I mean obviously that's a part of it, but I could really care less about those stupid apartments, because obviously when he said when we would come into your apartment to do those to do those inspections, that obviously means that those apartments have periodic inspections, which is ridiculous. If I pay rent to live here, I should be able to live the way I want to live as long as I'm not damaging your property in any way, you know what I mean? But to have inspections to make sure that I wash my dishes and I keep my house clean, you know what I mean? That's ridiculous. As long as I'm not creating a pest problem and I'm not damaging your apartment, like I said, there's no reason for you guys to be coming inside of my home. So yeah, it's really a blessing that I didn't get that apartment, because I'm not one to deal with rules, so I know that I wouldn't have done well there, because those inspections, like I said, are bullshit. So, and I'm also getting emotional because I know that I'm not the only young girl that's struggling like this. And I'm on my period, so don't judge. But yeah, I know that I'm not the only young girl that's struggling like this, struggling to find a place to you know, just live, you know what I mean, that you can actually afford, and struggling to support yourself even though you work a full-time job. I just thank God that, one, I don't have kids, and two, that I have a family. Like, I'm blessed enough to have a family that I can live with. It's not the ideal situation, but at least I'm not on the street. Like I said, I'm just very blessed and thankful that I have a family that I can live with. Like I said, it's not the ideal situation. I don't have my own bedroom, but I'm still, like, you know what I mean, I'm not on the street, so I will definitely take that any day of the week. But to anyone, I just want to say to anyone who may come across this video, if you are a young person living in California or just anywhere that it's expensive for no damn reason, and you're struggling like I am, and you get denied for apartments for stupid reasons like this, it's okay, you know what I mean? It will, like, everything happens for a reason. This is most likely a blessing in disguise for you, so it's okay. You're going to find something eventually. I know it's frustrating, especially if you're not in a good situation, which my situation isn't horrible. I just feel like it's not very good for my mental health to not ever have any privacy, but it is what it is. Like I said, at least I'm not on the street. But if you are going through something similar, just know it's going to get better. Nothing's forever. The situation's temporary. Everything happens for a reason. So just keep on working, keep on saving your money, and let this be motivation to work harder and make things happen for yourself. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged because stupid things like this happen. They will happen to you, trust me, but don't let it stop you. Never, ever, 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 ever stop, period. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys that story. I wanted to tell it a while ago, but I knew that it would get me riled up and make me emotional, so I waited a little bit. But yeah, if you guys have ever experienced something like this, please leave it down in the comments, because I've never heard of any shit like this before. No home visits, no deny applications because there were too many fucking cereal boxes on the refrigerator. Like, I've never heard of anything like that. So if you have something similar, leave it down below, and I will definitely see you guys. No, that's not my outro. What? But yeah, leave it down below, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Deuces.